So is it getting closer? Well, I'll explain what I mean by that in today's video, even though nothing I say is financial advice and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. So did you know that as of right now, we're starting to see some billboards out there appear in Las Vegas, and it's actually in regard to XRP billboards. Now, people like to say, well, why does this matter? Well, it's because literally on April 30th, the conference, right, or the event, I should say, of XRP Las Vegas is going to start. It's going to start from April 30th to May 1st. What does this have anything to do with Zebec? Some people may be wondering. Well, in case someone may be wondering that, let me explain. So Simon, which is the CEO of Zebec, he's planning to make a major announcement at XRP Las Vegas. We do know one thing though. He's going to be planning to speak right after Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple. Now he's scheduled to talk right after Brad Garlinghouse on April 30th. So when I take a look at that right there, wow, because we're so close to that event or that conference or whatever that is, my thing is that I'm just a little bit more enthusiastic than I have been before because it's kind of close. That's the thing. It's like, let's say we want to run in the treadmill for 10 minutes. The first kind of 8 minutes, it's like whatever, but the last 2 minutes is the one that we really care about sometimes. That's the way I take a look at it. It's the most like kind of, oh, come on, let's just finish running this thing. It's something like that, right? When I'm running on a treadmill, I feel like that. It just kind of feels like that as of right now. Now, if we take a look at it, I think this event is being taken seriously, right? Because initially, when I first talked about this, a lot of people were saying, that's not a serious event. Who cares about that? But seeing like the billboards like that appear in Las Vegas, that's pretty impressive in my opinion. And if I'm taking a look at my feed, it's just constantly people posting about, wow, take a look at the billboard at Las Vegas and all this. Again, the thing is, when it comes to this event, it seems like a lot of people hypothetically somewhat care about it, but that's just personally my perspective and I'm not telling anyone to do anything. And their billboard is literally at Resorts World, right? Like that is, I don't think something that is not expensive. I think that's actually very expensive for them to even have a billboard like that, but I'm just saying. That's besides the point though. I'm talking about, of course, Resorts World, the one with like the red building, right? It's like a red tower basically, but yeah, besides that point. And something else that I may add, did you know that actually they put a logo of XRP on the sphere? And of course, I can't show a picture of that because I don't own the picture, but I'm just saying that seems pretty impressive. I mean, we have to consider again just how expensive that could hypothetically be. Like, for instance, we've all heard about the UFC talking about the high cost it took them to host an event at the Sphere, which of course is in Las Vegas. And it's a little bit of a different ball game, right? That was an actual full-on event. This is just, basically the, I guess, exterior of it, like the digital billboard, I would say, the screen. So it's a little bit of a different case, but we have to consider just how expensive that could very well be. So I think it kind of showcases just how serious the event is being taken. Some of my friends out there, they didn't really think it was going to be a serious thing, but I think seeing all of this, wow, it's just a little bit of a different thing. I think as of right now, just seeing the serious nature, I think arguably of it. And something that I kind of found pretty interesting is that that conference is allegedly going to be happening at the Paris Hotel, which is in Las Vegas. But even besides that, I've actually seen the Eiffel Tower there, but the thing is, it looks cool, but if I go to France and I actually see the real Eiffel Tower, it's just different. That's the thing. It's cool though, again, seeing kind of like a, I guess, somewhat Eiffel Tower version in Las Vegas. I've been to Las Vegas a bunch of times, but I'm just saying, when I see that, it's cool, but when you see the real thing, it's just a little bit different. That's the thing. And again, seeing that event allegedly going to be happening at the Paris Hotel, there, right, in Las Vegas, I just thought it was, again, pretty cool, and it kind of brought memories of me seeing that for the first time and just thinking like, oh wow, it's cool, but then you see the one in Paris, it's just a little bit different. But yeah, besides that point. And the fact that Simon, which again is the CEO of Zebec, the fact that he's even speaking at that event as a keynote speaker, that's really impressive. I mean, come on, right? When it comes to Zebec, is it like a top 20, 30, 40 project or whatever? No, it's not. And still, Simon being a keynote speaker at that event, wow. And the major announcement that he's planning, I will never be able to know for sure currently, but I mean, I guess he's going to reveal it kind of soon, right? We'll wait and see exactly, but I'm just saying still, when it comes to that, I don't know again 100% for sure what he's going to be announcing, But, a lot of people are thinking it's going to be probably a Ripple hypothetical partnership. Now, if I had to guess what it would be, I'm kind of leaning towards that hypothetically just because of the clues that I mentioned in the past, like Simon, for instance, going to the Ripple office in London, talking about how he's going to be making a major announcement at XRP Las Vegas, and also on top of that, speaking on his visit in regard to the Ripple office in London and saying how there's going to be some sort of one of the biggest product launches to date. So really, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to Simon, I'm just pretty excited as to what he could hypothetically announce. And again, seeing those billboards in Las Vegas, the event kind of feels more real, I think, than ever before. That's just the way to take a look at it, especially when it comes to the one this year. This is just my mindset. So when it comes to Simon, he doesn't have a track record of, making jokes, saying he's going to do something and then not. He doesn't really have a track record of that. I mean, previously we've seen like him post about some clues and then he actually announces a major partnership. We've seen that in the past. So the track record so far hasn't been they're trying to make a major announcement, but then they don't. Again, they don't have a history of doing that. So yeah, sure. I mean, Zebec has been down around almost 12% in the past 24 hours. But in the grand scheme of things, if we consider what he could very well announce hypothetically soon, I think that right there is just, something that I care a lot more than just a random movement on charts. Because to me, even if, let's say, when he announces this quote unquote major announcement, if let's say it doesn't really do anything to the charts when it comes to Zebec, I'm not going to be disappointed because a lot of people have been asking me about that, right? They've been saying, oh, what happens if there is even, let's say, a hypothetical Ripple partnership, but then it doesn't do anything when it comes to the charts? A lot of people have been kind of questioning that, and they've been asking me that question, basically. But I'm not concerned because, again, if let's say a Ripple partnership, let's say hypothetically didn't do anything to the charts, that's the least of my concerns because I could care less about the short-term movements. I care more so about the long term. If a project builds, eventually sometimes people do care a lot about what happens to it, especially if there's an altcoin season, or especially if, let's say, there's a big change in market sentiment, which we haven't seen as of right now, but I'm just saying, let's take a look at it historically speaking. Cardano, because it kept building, when 2021 came around, it was waiting right there because the fundamentals were already in place. It just needed a market sentiment to change in a massive way, in which we did see that in 2021. And then at that point, of course, ADA went to over $2, even though previously in the past it was hovering around a couple cents. A lot of people thought it was cooked. But Cardano, they kept doing things, and we saw what happened. We saw that also when it comes to the case of Solana and many others. So personally, currently, when it comes to that event, that conference, I should say, that's what I'm really paying attention to. Because again, Simon, he's planning to make a major announcement at that event. So that is what I'm really focused on currently, but people like to say, well, what happens beyond that? Well, I take it one step at a time. When it comes to, like, let's say in the case of Zebec, did I know that they were going to be doing this like a year ago? No, right? So I just take it one step at a time. But one thing I do know, though, is that I just want to stay consistent and just stay patient, and that's it, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I think a lot of my friends out there are sometimes so worried about what a project could do like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later. But personally for me, what I want to focus on is just taking it step by step, right? Like for instance, over a year ago, did I think about anything in regard to Algorand? Or let's say in the case of a stellar partnership, that didn't even cross my mind at that time. But one thing I did know was that I was just going to stay patient, and eventually we saw that. So again, sometimes, overthinking too much about something that is so far away, I just don't really get it sometimes when it comes to a project. I just would rather kind of take it one step at a time and just see the gradual progression in regard to a project improving or not fundamentally. That's what I want to pay attention to usually. Sometimes people like to ask me, oh, what's Zebec going to be doing the next 20 years? It's like, I don't know. I mean, that's so far away. I'd rather focus on, okay, what are the incremental steps that Zebec is taking as of right now? That's what I'd rather focus on. So far, we've already seen XRPL being one of the supported chains when it comes to Zebec, but that Ripple partnership, hypothetically, it would just be different, in my opinion. It would just be a totally different ball game. So of course, as the event goes on, I'll be making more updates. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. It's Willie the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.